Hello, another purple talk in a purple night. So this week's topic is all about moms, specifically moms, and you're her daughter, and understanding, analyzing, like completely knowing your mom's effect on you, and even just like the little traits that you pick up after her, whether it be really good or really bad. And if they are really bad, you need to recognize that, and you need to like stray away from that and like learn from her mistakes. Like, this is kind of really what this is all about, and just understanding maybe how much you are like your mom as a girl. Because personally, I had never like thought about this before. I never thought to really take a step back and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm so much like my mom in hygienic ways, personality ways, how like I interact with men, interact with like people, like friends. Oh my gosh. So let's get into it. So the first thing, which is kind of more easy, I think, to analyze, is looks, appearance. So what comes to mind first is a whole bunch of questions. So I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions for you to ask yourself the questions, and maybe I'll kind of have some commentary on it too. So, question. So the theme is: did she present herself? How did she present herself, and where? So, was she ever dressed up while around the house, or like was she ever dressed up, especially when her husband was there, your dad, your father figure? Did she stay modest when going to church? How did she dress up for interviews? Like, these are kind of like important things in people's lives. Was she dressed up and looking her best even though she didn't have to? So ask yourself those questions. So the first question, was she ever dressed up while around the house? Especially when her husband was home. This says a lot about I think a ton about a girl's relationship with her man, and if they still have like that attraction thing going, and they're still trying to romance each other, or even in a way like she still respects him too. Like she wants to impress him. She wants him to feel attracted to her or feel impressed by her, and not a day goes by where she doesn't feel the need to do that. And it's not a stressful need, it's like a pleasing need, it's a romantic need. Like, you want to look good for your partner, you want to put effort into your appearance. So that says a lot. So your mom, did she dress up for your dad? Just being around the house, not going anywhere. Did she smell good? Like, that says a lot about their relationship. So the second question, did she stay modest for church, interviews? Like, how much did she respect herself, or how confident was she in herself? So any sort of interview, did she always have it or regard it in much importance? Was she always looking her best? Last question. So if she was like always looking her best, being beautiful is who she was. She owned that. It wasn't like a chore to be beautiful. It wasn't a chore to keep up on things like hair, scent, plucking your eyebrows, like the tiniest things. If she was beautiful. Being beautiful wasn't something that she became. So what beauty habits were important to her? So an example for this is like, did she always get her hair done, like her nails done? Did she go tanning regularly at a place? Did she wax all the time? Was she buying new clothes pretty often? What the amount of makeup that she wore? Or did she have no beauty habits? So this is kind of tied in. This is not even really different. It's like, how much effort did she put into her appearance? And even like the smallest things, like what were the steps that she took to iron her hair? What steps did she take to take care of her curly hair. And if she had a process for all this, she had a method, a makeup method that worked for her. You know, you're her daughter, you look just like her, you would probably look good in the same makeup that she does, or probably have curly hair as well and would need to know that routine. But it's like, if you think about it, like if your mom didn't have any like beauty routine, nothing to share with you, then of course you are not going to either. Or it takes a lot more effort for you to learn those things. So it's like, so appearance wise, what I'm trying to get to is that you pick up on these habits. You are so much like your mom, and there's no escaping it. So personally, my mom has like wavy hair like I do, but I never once saw her take care of like her natural curls. Like she would often use like heating methods. Like I would never see her using like creams, like creams that you kind of and they scrunch your hair, or any sort of special heating product. So growing up, I didn't have a curly hair routine, and my hair was like frizzy and wavy and all over the place, like hers, because I didn't like heating methods. But my point is that it's like growing up, you wouldn't even think, oh, there is a curly hair routine that I'm supposed to have, because your mom doesn't show you that. So, and then you can also think, okay, well, what beauty habits do I not have? And maybe if you focus on those that you've never been taught, then your appearance will be enhanced. Like, does that make sense? So, okay, so if I didn't grow up having a curly hair routine and I have curly hair, all of a sudden I implement, or I learn and I research about a curly hair routine, and then like my hair looks 10 times better all the time and my appearance looks better. So it's like moving past whatever you learned in your childhood, identifying it. So next, so this kind of like maybe stems off, this is so important though, stems off of the first question that I mentioned is, does she dress up for her man? Does she continually try to look pleasing to him? And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. How is that bad? It's not. It's easy. It's effortless when she is beautiful herself, and she does it all the time. It seems daunting if you're the type of person that doesn't do this all the time, of course. But if you have it ingrained in your brain to look feminine for your boyfriend and impress him, it's effortless. It's no problem. It's a romantic doing. It's not a chore. So with males. So I'm going to say like with males, but really what I'm talking about is like her husband. So your dad. How did she interact with your dad? So did she speak feminine to him? Like, did she ever raise her voice? Did she make the home comfortable before his arrival? Make it inviting for him. Make it somewhere that he wanted to come after a long day of work. Did she involve him in important events or decisions? And also, too, was she loved by him? So probably if it was like a yes to all those previous questions, she most likely was loved by him. And if she was, this is so important for you to observe as well, for you to see growing up. So this can be expressed in a way like, did he ever take her out on dates? Did he compliment her a lot? What kind of things did he do for her? Did he listen to her? Were like they emotionally connected like that? Like a good listener, not talk over her. All these things. So it's like the love that she gives him, and then the love that he returns to her. There's so much to observe in that. And of course, the obvious is that when you're growing up as a kid and you're watching this, that's you growing up, and that's how you're expecting relationships to be. So if she is not glowing, there's a woman glows when she is loved. and she is in love, and she's in a comfortable place to express her love and be vulnerable. You can see it clear as day. So was your mom often like that, or was she not? And then you grow up thinking men are a source of stress for women, or are they a source of protection and something good in your life, something good to have in your life? It's so important. This is so obvious, but really think about that. Like, really dive into, like, how did my parents, how were they romantic with each other, or like how were they not? And to move past that personally. So it's like I identify the way that my parents maybe interacted, and I'm like, okay, I like that, I don't like that, so I'm not going to tolerate that, like what I don't like, in my future relationships or current relationship, because I know the outcome of it. Or like I know how it feels because my mother felt it. It's kind of like that, maybe like that familial, like intuitive, emotional feeling, like what your mom feels, you feel, because they all like are related. I don't know if that's too spiritual. I don't know if that's too reaching, but you know. So her relationship with males, mainly the husband I'm talking about, and then her relationship with females as well. So being kind to other women, never expressing like that nasty, insecure jealousy. Does she look up to another woman? Like, does she have a role model of her own? Teaches other women. So another woman is you. So beauty tips to uplift and make you beautiful as well. Does she share her knowledge with you because she wants you to be on the same level as her, or even higher level, and y'all learn together? So not jealous, open to giving, helping, advising, uplifting, being open-minded. So important. So personally, what hurt me so much with this one is especially when your mom is jealous of other women, instead of uplifting them or acknowledging, yes, she's so beautiful, or she's accomplished all this, so good for her. Because once you appreciate that, then the universe wants to give you that. But I would say that's the most hurtful thing I've ever experienced, is my mom being like nasty and jealous like that. Sorry, there's like a bug after me. And as well, kind of being unfocused and not giving her like hygienic or beauty knowledge to me. And when I was little, I kind of had to figure that out on my own. But it's so beautiful when a beautiful woman or an experienced and wise woman wants to share her tips with you, her beauty tips, or even like her dating tips, how to woo a man. That's the giving part, the generous part. We want all our sisters to succeed. That's what's beautiful. That's what's so important, is her relationship with other females. Her looking up to another woman, like her looking up to her mom in a perfect world, that's beautiful. Her having a good relationship with her mom, and then you have a good relationship with her, your mom, and it's beautiful. So, next. So it really all comes down to the relationship that she has with herself. So this one can be observed. Did she ever have the luxury of quality alone time? Hobbies of her own. So what this does, I feel like, for a lady so much, me, you, any girl, is when a girl has like alone time, she has that freedom, like that self-nourishment, that self-love, the love of her own company. That is like muse mentality, or that's like how to be a muse. I don't know, I'm not maybe going to explain that too much, But like a muse is like an individual that is so in love with themselves that you can't help but love them too. That's like the best way that I can explain it. They are just such a free, loving person. Nothing can touch them. Like that's how I ever felt like when my mom did something for herself, when she was out by herself, out doing something fun that she liked. No husband, no, like your dad, your father, not necessary to be there with, and not necessary for him to be there with her, because it makes it different. And also, side note, husbands and men love for you to do what you love, because it makes you glow and it makes you more feminine to do things for yourself and to love yourself. It's a muse mentality. You become their muse, a man's muse. Anyway, so did your mom have alone time? Okay, did she take pride in her feminine curves and show them? So did she like have a big bust, or did she have a butt, and what clothes did she choose to wear to accentuate that, or maybe kind of exaggerate that? Like take pride, and not in a sexual way, because it doesn't have to be sexual, in a sensual way. Like just taking pride of that, taking ownership and confidence in using her body, being so one with her body and not separate from her body. Because that affects you and how you think of it as well. Like no sexual shame. And could she openly communicate to you about that? Did you ever, maybe, I don't know, like ever hear your parents openly talk about sex between each other? There should be no shame, because like I'm saying, all of this stuff gets passed on to you. Did she know what she wanted all the time and has boundaries, set boundaries between like you and her husband, especially? Like, no, you're not going to treat me that way. You're not going to talk to me that way. So sorry about the helicopter. Oh my goodness. They're really close. Okay. Boundaries, yeah. And also boundaries. So that's just, so it's not just being like, okay, I don't like that, you're not going to treat me that way. But it's also, this is so important, it's also not letting anybody take away your sunshine. So if your mom like was like a loving individual, had a big heart, she wouldn't let anybody less than that, anybody with less of a heart, make her heart smaller. She just had that courage. She knew who she was as a person so much. Did she stand up for herself? Especially with men. And did she stand up for like you? Did she stand up for the people that she loved, or the things that she loved? Like, was she completely who she was, is really what this question is. And it's so inspiring when your mom can be this person and you can observe that. I mean, how beautiful, like, for you to be able to follow such great footsteps. And this one also really important, this is kind of too, like, not being sexually ashamed, but not being emotionally ashamed. Like, did she cry when she needed to? Was she like vulnerable and very emotional, especially with men? Because men, I feel like men don't handle this the best, don't handle emotions always the best way. But I think they need to know that you are sensitive and you do cry over things. So never to hide that, never to try to act like you're stronger than you are, just to be yourself. This is like all questions to like ask about your mom, and you should have a clear idea, and then you kind of do that. So you reflect on her, and then you reflect on yourself, and you're like, wow, and then you start the change from there, really. So, oh my goodness, it makes me think about like my own mom, and I'm really like, this is such, I think, like an emotional topic, just because when you have like a really close, loving relationship with someone of the same sex, so like it could be like a best girlfriend, or really even your mom, you uplift each other in such ways. You make each other. And to have such a loving relationship with men, and to have such a loving, correct relationship with men, and to have such a loving, correct relationship with females, like you really can't go wrong in life. And I've loved personally focusing on how to better my relationship with both of the genders, and just appreciating their differences, acknowledging it, and going at that social strength, expanding social expression. It's all social. I think that's it, guys. Super emotional topic. So thank you for watching as always. I wish you could see maybe the purple light like a little bit better. It's really purple. I love it. I'm wondering what purple light even does. Like, what kind of effect does it have on the brain? Like, does it make me think deeper when I am talking to the camera? I thought about that. I don't know too much maybe about that, if color affects the brain. I mean, it has to, because people have like mood lights in their room, and and like red makes it like stupid stuff like that, like, and then maybe yellow is good for reading, just stuff like that. So I'm really liking the purple light. Anyways, thank you for watching. Did you notice my braids in my hair? I love doing this. Oh my goodness, good night.